Hey guys, infamous stars Captain Albert Wesker here. I want to make a theory video about Albert Wesker. Because the RE4 remake and RE5. You know, Albert Wesker didn't really die on the tanker, in RE5, before the volcano thing and the fight with him. That one scene in the video where he's talking on the microphone, it's nowhere to be seen on the tanker ship. So, my theory is that he left on the submarine, the submarine from Code Veronica, and he already made his, his runaway already. And the Wesker that we fight in RE5 during the volcano is actually a clone of Wesker, and not the real Wesker. And Chris Redfield thinks that he defeated Wesker, but not by a long shot. I have a feeling that Albert Wesker is going to play a bigger role in RE4 remake. So, definitely with Aiden, Jack Krauser. I don't know what Albert Wesker is going to up his sleeve this time for RE4 remake. I hope it's something really terrifying, or something he's got really in store for Ada or Jack Krauser and Leon. Anyways, Wesker, I want to get his hands on the G-Virus, the G-Virus sample on RE4. And, RE4 really doesn't talk about, the G-Virus sample that Sattler carries. But I know it's the G-Virus from RE2 during the Raccoon City incident. So, I hope that RE4 remake talks more about the G-Virus sample that Sattler has, Osmond Sattler, that he has in RE4 remake, because it doesn't get explained very much. There's some plot holes and stuff that could be ironed out in the RE4 remake. With what Jack Krauser coming to the island, with the assassination attempt, trying to kill Leon, his comrade, and with Ada Wong. There could be a lot of interesting stuff, with Ada Wong and Jack Krauser, compared to the original RE4. I could see Jack, more of a bigger role of Jack Krauser, playing a bigger part in RE4 remake. Because I know in the original he gets a lot of off-camera time, but we get to the island and you see Jack Krauser for the first time. I can see Jack Krauser explored a little bit more. He's such an awesome character, and I love Jack Krauser. He's one of my favorites. I could talk about him all day. Hopefully they'll keep Mercenaries in RE4 like they did in the original, so I hope Mercenaries will be an RE4 remake. The thing is about Albert Wesker, he's been hiding in the shadows for so long. When Sherry, was apprehended by the government, before RE4. Sherry's infected with the G-Virus antibodies, from William Birkin. And I know he's been trying to get his hands on that, because it talks about it in Wesker's report. So, fortunately, that never happened. So, it'd be kind of cool to see if he ever get his hands on her, and contract the G-Virus. And, interesting enough, he was at Rockford Island during Code Veronica, looking for, for Chris. And I know he's looking for Axella, when he was at the island. And, he spread the T. Veronica virus, on the island. And, meeting Wesker on the first time, with Claire, he despised Chris Redfield, for all the stuff that he went through during the Spencer Mansion incident. And he knows that his eyes are all infected, and plus, William Birkin made the prototype G-Virus for Wesker during the Spencer Mansion incident. It was a prototype G-Virus. It was a different strain of the virus compared to one that William Birkin used on himself. This was a different strain. But Wesker's going to become a monster, like, how William Birkin did, with the eyeball and stuff, and his body all getting all deformy looking, grossy looking. So he's got superhuman powers, superhuman strength, speed, agility, faster healing and stuff. And Albert Wesker, he can just tell he's very shady, and I just love Albert Wesker to death. I like when he made his appearance in RE0, with William Birkin. When William Birkin at the time was working on the G virus, and I know Wesker and Birkin, are kind of close friends, because there was a report about it during Wesker's report. And, at the time, Lisa Trevor, William Birkin was, doing work for the G virus. So, Lisa Trevor was the first one that showed signs of the G virus and the NS parasite that was used for Nemesis. So, the parasite that was in Lisa Trevor kind of dissolved into one being its own being. And Lisa Trevor cannot die by bullets. You sure know that by now, because you try shooting at her, she'll just faint, but she'll just regenerate back because of her G virus abilities. And the G virus was the past T virus in every way. The only way Lisa Trevor died was during Umbrella Chronicles, when Wesker was trying to escape from the mansion. Was he shot the chandelier to kill Lisa Trevor, and he says, "Be a good girl and stay dead this time, Lisa Trevor." So he made run for the mansion, and then after a couple months later, he went to that research facility. I think it was in Russia, where he met Sergei Vladimir, his other comrade, and he stole the red, the backup deck for the Red Queen. During the Resident Evil 1 remake with Sergei Vladimir. And, Wesker broke in and killed Sergei Vladimir. And he took the backup data of the Red Queen. So that's before RE4, RE4 came around. He's using the satellite feeds. And he sent Ada to steal the sample from Osman Sattler. So... And then that's when Wesker was pulling all the strings and stuff. Send Drakkhauser along so he doesn't screw it up. So, and then a couple years later, after Wesker's death, he had a son, Jake Miller Wesker Jr., who was the biological son of Albert Wesker, which is kept confidential during Jake's campaign during RE6. And so it's been 3 years since Wesker's death, which he kind of faked his own death during RE5, Albert Wesker himself. So everybody presumed that he was actually dead, including the BSAA, the West African branch. So, anyways, yeah, they're all presumed that he was dead. And fortunately, Albert Wesker, no one did. He went back into hiding. And so, and I think that's when he made that organization called the organization, during RE7's outbreak of the mold C virus. And I think that's when he started to change, it was called the organization during the time, during Umbrella Chronicles, it was still called an organization. And so I think he's the one who just, gave the C virus to Lucas Baker and, including with Evelyn, in RE7. So, and plus with that big tanker in the Blue Bayou in Louisiana, in Dovey, Louisiana. So, it makes sense. So, and plus, during RE8's outbreak incident, and was it the old part of Europe? Lady Dimitrescu, Heisenberg, Mother Miranda, and I think Wesker was in Europe, where BSA was at, where he was sending BOWs during Chris's part later in the game in Resident Village. So there's your theory right there that Albert Wesker was still alive, and he was saying BSA soldiers, as BOWs, kind of zombie-like soldiers. Yeah, so Wesker is still alive at the after RE5, and he still wants to get revenge on Chris. He was just saying, "I should have cured you years ago, Chris." I'm just getting started. You know, you always want to kill Chris and his little sister Claire, and Wesker, man, he's just, you never know what he's gonna do. So especially he betrayed Excella from RE5, injects the Eurobor virus into her and turning into an ugly creature monster. So and when he was talking on the microphone, he was at the submarine at the time because he was already off the tanker, because he was already one step ahead of Chris. And so I think after that he just went into hiding, because he was only seen during RE0, RE1, RE4, and 5, and then after he kind of disappeared during RE6, RE7, RE8. But the only thing that what RE7 and RE8 gave away was his appearance with the Samurai Edge handgun, Wesker's, iconic gun, being as a STARS captain. So it makes sense that, just kind of give away because it lead up to RE9. Just my theory of Wesker returning. So I have my hopes up. So, but I do love that scene, when Wesker, goes against Alexia and he says, "You're coming with me. And I want the Veronica virus." He's, that epic fight against Alexia. So, yeah. So that was an interesting fight, and plus, that one fight with Wesker and Chris during Cold Veronica, when Wesker almost trying to kidnap Claire and take him with him. You already know he already snagged Steve's body, Steve Burnside. So, Chris is getting back from all his, for all the comrades that died during the Spencer Mansion incident. So, that fight went on for quite a while. And, Wesker still cannot die because he's kind of, superhuman being. And then a couple years later, Chris got a lead, one of Umbrella's founders, Oswald Spencer, during RE5, found out Oswald Spencer's agents were all dead, brutally murdered by Albert Wesker himself, because, he broke into the Spencer estate. So, Chris had no idea that Wesker was actually there. So, by the time they got, to Oswald Spencer, he was already dead. Wesker killed him. He was saying, like, the one who truly deserves of being a god deserves that right, and that right is not mine. And he just kills, Spencer, punch him neck to the chest, killing him instantly. So, and then Jill kind of saved Chris's life, pushing Wesker out the window. And then, because, Chris arrives a couple, months or hours, years, I think a couple months later to Africa, and find out Wesker is still alive. So, we just don't know what Wesker's been up to since he faked his death during RE5, but this is just my theory. But he never didn't die. He had already had a clone set up during the RE5, before the volcano fight. So, anyways, Emma, I'm making this video for you. This is my Albert Wesker theory. So, thank you for the advice and everything. So, yeah, when I was playing RE1 Remake and I'm seeing Albert Wesker, after RE0, there was like, you find out you can't leave the mansion. There's BOW, Cerberus dogs outside. And you gotta figure a way yourself out of the mansion. Plus, there was a research facility nearby underneath the Spencer mansion. And this wasn't gonna be an easy way to get out of the mansion. So once you come across the star members throughout the mansion, then that Wesker's been killing them. During behind the scenes kind of stuff. With Kenneth, because he ran into a zombie down the hall during the dining room. And then Wesker was in the mining area, and Jill or Chris was going to show up for Enrico. And Wesker's professional, and he killed him with one shot, Enrico. And Joe's like, "Who's the traitor?" And if when the camera angles out, you see Wesker, Albert Wesker in the back. So, and you meet him again during the residence area, and he told Joe to look for go back to the mansion because there's some doors that he couldn't get through, and I think Wesker was just doing that so he can just get the tyrant released out of the capsule so he can kill all the star members like Chris, Jill, Barry, and Barry's being blackmailed by Wesker himself. And things wasn't going to end well for Wesker when he released the tyrant. And so the tyrant, the ultimate tyrant, and our remake was a step up from the proto tyrant from RE0. So yeah, from the prototype, and then after that, the mansion blew up, and the tyrant killed Wesker, and plus because the prototype G-virus sample that Birkin gave him brought him back to life. Hatred became his master, and so during the Brother Chronicles, you're playing the segments of Wesker seeing his person view during RE0 and RE1, and he's given from the Umbrella Research Facility and the Spencer Mansion. And the Spencer Mansion really shows where he's unaffected, and he's seeing his powers for the first time, and meeting Lisa Trevor again, and Chris, Jill were back. Barry, they already left already with that guy in the helicopter, Vickers, Brad Vicker. So they already left, and Wesker's like the only one left behind, because Virus brought him back to life for like a second chance for revenge. And he says, "Jill, Chris, prepare to await our tear-filled reunion." The tear-filled reunion, and he meets them later on during RE5. So, anyways. Yeah, so it was kind of cool to see Albert Wesker. He kills Dr. James Marcus, and William Birkin walks in the room with Wesker, and he says, "I'll take over your research," said Birkin. "Ah, prepare to die, doctor." And they threw James Marcus's body into the water power plant. In the water. And then one of the leeches that James Marcus was working on brought Dr. Marcus back to life as the Leech Queen, and he heard all his memories and stuff. And it kind of blew Wesker away. And when he started Dr. James Marcus alive, a couple years later, and especially Birkin seen him too for since last time he assassinated him. So that kind of surprised me too in a way. So I like RE0's backstory, how it leads up, RE1 remake. Exploring the Umbrella Research Facility has been abandoned for years. Find out Dr. James Marcus is still alive at the assassination, even though there's no more human part left of him anymore, because he's, made out of the leeches and stuff. And there's this mimic Marcus leech zombies that you see throughout the facility and stuff. Oh, God, I used to hate those things. You had to kill them like fire Molotov cocktails to kill them. They're allergic to fire. Gun bullets don't do very much because, I actually get, you can take some serious damage. They'll just hit you with their long arms and stuff. So, Albert Wesker, man, he just don't want to get on his bad side because, boy, he can leave you in a heartbeat, in a Spencer Mansion or anything. But anyways, yeah, I did watch Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City, and seeing Albert Wesker, and he didn't have the sunglasses because they want to keep it secret during the cuts, after the after credits and the credits. And Ada was pulling his strings the entire time during the Spencer Mansion incident, during the Raccoon City incident, and we see that Albert Wesker is brought back to life, and he gets the sunglasses. So hopefully they'll make a sequel to original Welcome to Raccoon City, because I actually enjoyed the first one. They could have done more with William Birkin, there was like a lot more fights, and in RE2 and RE2 remake, there was a lot more fights with William because the G virus just kept on mutating him, and it becomes a big monstrosity and stuff. And so I didn't like playing RE2 remake, playing as Leon S. Kennedy. His first day on the force during the Raccoon City incident. He's seeing like Mr. X, the tyrant, the pursuer, looking for any survivors, and finds out Ada Wong is a spy who's trying to steal the G virus from William with his tissue fragment. So that didn't go so well for Ada when Mr. X caught up, and Annette Birkin shot Ada, and she falls over the railing. And I like Claire's campaign a little bit better because you get all the fights with William Birkin. And Leon's got one good fight against Mr. X, which is kind of cool, but Claire doesn't get that fight at all. I did like the alligator boss fight, but it could have been a little bit better like in the original. But I do like the chase sequence, though. That is like very terrifying. So I do love that. So I love the way Capcom did that, though. That was kind of cool. Getting chased by an alligator, like a nonstop rampage. So, but I see Albert Wesker again a couple years later, in Rockford Island. He's looking for the Ashfords, like Alexia, Alfred Ashford. He's looking for the Code Veronica virus that Alexia's been working on, and he wanted to take her because she's bonded with the Code Veronica virus on the cellular level. So, anyways, that didn't go good so for him, but he did take Steve's body though because Steve already had the Veronica virus, so he took his body. And then a couple of years later, that we see Leon and Krauser, during the Javier's mission, and plus he gave. So once Wesker already extracted the T Veronica virus, he gave it to Javier during Darkside Chronicles. So this is a couple years later, and we see the T Veronica virus unleash again in another part, somewhere in the Middle East. So, and then we see Wesker again. This is before Krauser get all evil before RE4, and he joined Wesker. So, but he was watching the entire time during that fight with Javier when Javier turned into a monster. And I don't know what happened to Javier's daughter. I think the government took her in and stuff, for close studies and stuff. Yeah, but Wesker's always trying something new. So, but for some reason RE5, I can never find that room during that one cutscene when he's stuck on the microphone. I mean, I know Wesker is like alive, but I looked at that entire ship on the tanker during RE5, and I still cannot find that room. I did find a file with Dr. James Marcus, though, which is kind of interesting, though, and talk about the Project W project. So, I think Umbrella at the time was making clones of their employees. So, and I know, Wesker had an extra clone on the ship, just in case something happens to him. So, that's why Wesker is still alive. And it's only a matter of time before we see him again in RE9, but this is just my theory. So, anyways, yeah, kind of sucked getting betrayed by Wesker during the Spencer mansion now, and it's kind of sad seeing Barry getting blacked out by Wesker and threatening his family, his children, like Moria, and his other daughter, I forgot what her name is. But yeah, Barry Burton, he's been through a hard time with Wesker and stuff, and we find out Moira Burton gets kidnapped with Claire during Revelations 2, and they get transferred to an island. There was like a Russian facility, and I think Umbrella was using it too because Alex Wesker was there doing experiments on the T Phobos virus. Which, if you get too scared or anything, or bracelet turns red and you turn it into a monster because it injects a T Phobos virus into your body. And Barry gets, just really pissed off when he sees Alex Wesker. She's not human anymore. Just because this is a couple of years later, when he goes back to looking for Moya Burton, his daughter. But anyways, yeah, so Alex Wesker, she's not, unrecognizable anymore, and there's like these Ouroboros. She's been making other monsters with the virus, and we know that Albert Wesker gave her some samples of Ouroboros from RE5, and just it's kind of cool to see Alex Wesker. She's kind of a cool villain character related to Albert Wesker, his sister, because Alex Wesker is Albert Wesker's brother, and Albert Wesker is Alex Wesker's sister, and they were both kidnapped when they were kids, and they're brainwashed by Oswald Spencer. So Albert has no memories of his former self, his actual name, and he was just given the name Albert Wesker, including with Alex Wesker. So they have no memories of their childhood or their parents or anything. Oswald Spencer brainwashed them. But anyways, back to Revelations 2. He was trying to protect Natalia from Alex Wesker, because Alex Wesker was experimenting on Natalia. She was trying to transfer her memories and stuff. And so if you get the bad ending, Natalia turns into Wesker, Alex Wesker, and she gets like the red eyes like Albert has. And because during that one scene, when you're in the mining area, Alex was trying to choke Natalia, and she feared something terrifying about Natalia. She kind of had like a vision of Albert. She's thinking maybe Albert might kill her, and if Natalia turns into him or something. But that's what I was just getting from watching the game during that scene. Yeah, but I would love to see Resident Evil Revelations 3 expanding on Revelations 2, Capcom. I want to see more of Natalia, because, she's inheriting all of Alex Wesker's memories and stuff, because she transferred her mind over. If Capcom, if you guys can please make Revelations 3, I really want a third chapter to Resident Revelations, please. I want some closure on Resident Revelations 2, because I want to see a third one of Revelations 3, the continuation where the second one left off. So if Capcom, if you guys are hearing me out, please make a third one of Revelations 3. I would definitely buy it, first buy. Yes, I really want Revelations 3. I want to see how I want to see an epic conclusion to Revelations 2, with Alex Wesker. And, with Natalia, she's having Alex Wesker's, memories and stuff, and inheritance from her. So, yeah, come on, if you ever make that game, I'll definitely buy it. First day for me. I love Resident Evil. I've been a Resident Evil fan since the 90s. I've been an old Resident Evil veteran of the series. I have every single Resident Evil game you guys ever made. So, you guys keep up the awesome work. Still looking for the RE4 remake you guys are working on. So, you guys up the awesome work. And I hope the game is, longer as, as the original, but expanding the story more and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to playing RE4 remake on PS5. I am really looking for it. And I hope you guys make a port of RE4 remake for PS4 as well. So I really want that for my collection with the rest of the original games that's on PS4. So please hear me out, Capcom. Please. I love your guys' games. I try to support you guys every year when you guys release a game and stuff. So, but I really want a port of RE4 remake on PS4, so I can play it on my PS4 Pro. So, thanks for hearing me out, Capcom. Much appreciated. Thank you. But anyways, Emma, this video is for you and for my friends. This is my Albert Wesker theory video. So, yeah, so Alex Wesker is made to be seen as well. If Capcom can make a Revelations 3, because I really want a game of that, where Revelations 2 left off. Because I want to see more of Alex Wesker too, because she's kind of a cool villain, and I love her. She's kind of a cool, being a villain, being a researcher and all, just like her brother Albert and stuff. I want to see more of Alex Wesker. She's kind of a cool, unique character, and I really love her as Albert. And Albert's one of my favorite characters as well, because I love both. I like Albert Wesker and Alex Wesker. They're two of my favorite villains in the original series franchise. But I want to see more of Alex Wesker in the Resident Revelations 3. I want to see more of her. So, because I know Natalia inherited all her memories and stuff. So, yeah, that game's got definitely some potential to make another story out of it. And I want to see more of Burton as well, and maybe Jill Valentine and Barry, or some other returning characters from Resident Evil series franchise for Revelations 3, or Claire Redfield and stuff. So I like surprises. So, anyways, Emma, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for the advice, by the way. I really want to make a Wesker Theory video, so I'm doing this today. So tomorrow I'll make a PS4 collection video. I'll be showing off some PS4 games. And I'll be doing like I did with the other video today that I made today. But show you off and talking about them more. So, anyways. Yeah, I love Albert Wesker. He's a very cool, shady villain character. And, man, when I played RE0, man, seeing Albert Wesker the first time, I just can't get enough of Albert Wesker. With him and William Birkin and stuff. So, I did love exploring the Umbrella Research Facility, in RE0. It was just kind of cool because you're going from the research facility, kind of the big mansion place. You're going to the church and fighting the Proto-Tyrant. And Proto-Tyrant was a really cool enemy. I did like him. Seeing him one of the Tyrants for the first time in the prototype form before they made the more upgraded version of the Tyrant in RE1 Remake, the Ultimate Life Form. And then Mr. X came years later in RE2, which he was kind of cool, with the hat. I like his redesigned look in RE2 Remake, with his Pandora hat that he wears, and the big trench coat that he wears, and hearing those big, terrifying footsteps. Oh my gosh, it shivers up my spine. I was so terrified of Mr. X. He managed to scare me all the time in the original and remake, and Resident Evil Remake is very unpredictable with Mr. X. I mean, I never know what he's going to come. If he's going to come from the right, he's going to come from the left, down the hall. And I like Resident Evil 2 because it's so dark in so many areas, and you just can't see when Mr. X is going to come up behind you and, kind of gives it to you. Yeah, but, getting chased by him is really fun. And terrifying at the same time. And I did like, Nemesis and Resident Evil 3 Remake. He was very terrifying, seeing him in the RE engine and stuff. And I think Capcom did a well-done job with Nemesis. But that chase sequence, man, he was terrifying. I was in a save room one day, and I see Nemesis chasing through a save room, and it terrified me. And this was on hardcore difficulty. And, oh my God, I had to get out of the save room because I couldn't save my game. And now I'm trying to make it to the, try to run away to the power plant, so I can get on the train and stuff. But I did like R3 Remake. I did like for what it was, and I did like Nemesis popping in and out, during the next, it's its own game. And I did like the Resident Evil 3 original too, with Nemesis, his monster forms and his tentacles and stuff. I did like Nemesis, such a cool, iconic villain and stuff, terrorizing Jill Valentine and Brad Vickers, and, seeing Nikolai betraying Jill in the end with Carlos. As this kind of cool. I love to see Carlos again. I like Carlos Oliveira. He's another really cool, awesome character. Always got a thing for Jill. And he says, "I would never leave you in the crew, Carlos's world." So I always love that line from Carlos. And he's such a cool character, especially in the original. Always trying to make a pass at Jill Valentine, which is kind of funny and hilarious at times. But yeah, I like Carlos. I mean, he's got a lot of respect for Jill, and I admire that. Nikolai, man, he was just like an Albert Wesker, being shady, Mikhail being all injured on the bench and stuff, and it's kind of sad seeing Mikhail in a poor state. And Nikolai is a very cruel, cold-hearted man, And, I love the live action choices in the original where you get a chance to kill Nikolai or let him escape or let him get killed by Nemesis himself, which is kind of cool but gruesome at the same end. But I did like Nikolai. He's such a really cool, iconic villain, in the RE3 original and RE3 remake. I mean, I love his voice actor. I really do. So I can see more of Nikolai, you know, again, because I'm gonna revisit that game again. So I like seeing Nikolai at times on the screen. Being a very cold-hearted dude, and killing off most of his team members and stuff. So yeah, he's like an Albert Wesker, and in a way, being a traitor and all, and working with Umbrella. So, and I like Alexia, I like Alfred Ashford, such a really cool characters, really cool iconic villains and stuff. So, especially with William Burke, and William Burke is such an iconic character as with a tragic story, Umbrella killing him, getting his research from him, and Sherry's the one that actually grew on me the most in RE2. And, I know she had horrible parents and stuff. I know her mom always loved her, Annette Birkin. And, her dad just had no more. There was nothing left of human left of him anymore. What was human left is pretty much gone because the G-Virus just kind of took over his entire body. And I kind of cried, in R2 Remake. I feel sorry for Sherry. She's such a really cool character, growing up from a little girl to a teenager and on RE6 and trying to fight the outbreaks with Leon and Helena and stuff, being an agent and all. And I'm glad Claire took her in. Claire Claire and Chris had no parents. And their parents died when they were young, and Chris did all their raising with Claire. But it's Sherry as a character. She has a very tragic story with her parents. William being a monster and all, with the G-Virus, and Brad taking his research away. And she just really, really had a hard life. It's really sad. It really is. And I feel sorry for Sherry. I know she's trying to be a brave girl, but deep inside, she's taking it really hard, mourning over, the death of her parents. I know, know what that feels like. So, anyways, I did like Mora, I did like, being Barry Burton's daughter. I did like playing as Mora in Revelations 2. She's such a cool character. And I made the one choice where I got her killed and I got the bad ending in the game. But I love Moira Burton. She's such a cool, awesome character. And, showing more backstory of what happened during the blackmail with Wesker and stuff. And we're seeing, flashes of memories when Moira grabbed Barry's gun, one of his old Stars guns from the Spencer Mansion. And she didn't, she shot her little sister by accident, but thank God her little sister lives, and all. But yeah, I did love Moira. She saved Clara's life when she grabbed the gun. She didn't want, pick up any handguns or anything after that incident when she shot her sister. And I know that, I understand Moira from a point of view as a character, and she's such a cool, awesome character than her own character arc. Really good character development, and her bonding with Claire is just kind of cool. So it has like more of a flashback to Resident Evil 2. It's kind of a love letter, when Claire kind of saved Sherry in Resident Evil 2, and how Claire bonded with Moira Burton. Just kind of cool as as two awesome characters, two lovable characters. So. Yeah, I like the relationship. It's just kind of cool. So we're really good friends. So, yeah, I did have fun playing as Claire and Moira in that game, playing as Barry as well. So, and I did like that awesome fight against Alex Wesker, man. I love that fight when she's in her final form, and Really good one-liners, by the way, Capcom in that game. Um, so, yeah, I did like that fight. With playing as Barry during that final fight where he says the iconic line, "I have this," and I did like that fight. I really did like it. Running away from Alex Wesker, that was just very terrifying for me, and did like that fight overall. That was an awesome fight. So, anyways, yeah, I'll be definitely playing my Resident games again, gearing up for Resident 4 Remake. So I'm definitely pre-ordering it next year for PS5, and hopefully, Capcom, if you're hearing me out, please make a port of Resident 4 Remake for PS4, so I can have it for my collection, please. I love Resident 4 a lot. It's one of the games I grew up as a child. On GameCube as my first game. I love Leon. He's such a cool, awesome character. And I did love Ashley. She's kind of cool. But I'm glad you guys fleshing more of the story with Resident 4 Remake, with Ashley and stuff. So I hope the game will be very, very terrifying. So, because I love Resident 4. It's one of my favorite games of all time in the series franchise. So I hope it's a very long game, because I'm really looking forward to a really good adventure with Leon and Ashley and Ada, Jack Krauser, Chief Mendes, Salazar, Osmond Sattler. I really love Osmond. He's a really cool, awesome co-priest character, and he's kind of cool in his own way, and I like him. He's one of my favorite characters from my childhood. And with Chief Mendes and Salazar and Jack Krauser and Ada Wong. And I do like her, her outfit with the thing that she's wearing. This is kind of cool. I like the new outfit look for Ada, and especially the new outfit for Ashley. So I love the way R4 Remake is going. I love the way the game is going for more of a darker tone. It's going to a nighttime stuff and daytime stuff. I'm really looking forward. So can't wait to play it on March 24th next year. So I'll definitely be playing it on PS5 and PS4. And I hope you're listening to this to Capcom. But I hope you guys make a port of Resident 4 Remake for PS4, so I can have one physical copy of it. I will buy 8 copies of it, so I can have it in my collection. So I can have some backup copies as well. So, yeah. I will definitely pre-order Resident 4 Remake if it comes to PS4, because I really want a port of it to PS4 so that I can have a physical copy of it. So please hear me out, Capcom. Please, I'm begging you. I'll definitely buy it, because I love supporting your guys' games, and especially for the Resident franchise, because Resident as a whole is a very dear franchise. I hold dear to my heart as a child, because I grew up playing all the Resident games. So I hope you guys make a Resident 4 remake physical copy for PS4, because I want a port of it for PS4 so I can play it. So thank you for hearing me out, Capcom. Much appreciated. All right, you guys are awesome. Keep up the awesome work. And thank you for hearing me out. All right, Emma. Hope you enjoyed this video. You and my friends. As my Albert Wesker 3rd video. All right. Talk to you guys later. Ciao.